Hi, welcome back to my channel, TCQTexportPvtLtd, your specialist in everything Chainstitch Embroidery. Here we are today with a very special parcel which has come in from Germany this morning. It's the leftovers, the last of the contents of the Lintz Eckhart Factory from Berlin. For those of you that don't know, Lintz Eckhart was the strongest competitor to Corneli in France, making equally as great quality and variety of chain-stitch embroidery machines. The two companies were head-to-head for the entirety of their existence, so much so that most parts can actually be used between the two different brands, which were made in Europe. Here we go. Okay, on the top here we have a stack of original operating manuals for the Lintz Eckhart. I'm going to guess the A model or model number 1. I am correct. So this was the basic machine, which is exactly the same as the Corneli A, for example. This is a later version, actually. I can tell from the spring system. These machines are actually quite rare. I've only seen 1 or 2 of these still in existence, but the instructions are going to be the same as the earlier model with the hanger springs. As you'll see there, the springs are straight on this model, so this means this is a post-war World War II, post-World War II edition. Let's see which other models. Wow, I've got quite a few there. All original. Okay, this may be a description catalogue. All in German, which I cannot read much of. Okay, it's some sort of advertising showing what can be done. So theatrical costume. This sort of style was very popular in the 20s. Great with the German outfit here. Oriental influence, again very popular in the 20s. Yeah, absolute 20s. I'm going to guess from the hemlines here and the drop waist that we're looking at probably 1928 to 1929, more so 1929. So this will be just before the Great Depression, which may explain how this even existed. It may not have got circulation going into 1930. Okay, this one appears to be in Spanish, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, showing all their fantastic metal award-winning at all the fairs around the world. Corneli has similar achievements. Okay, this is brilliant. Table setup, the original, which of course was run with the treadle machine instead of the motor. Oh, brilliant. Okay, so this was the model number 1 that I was talking about earlier in the video, with the hanger spring. So there's a spring in the front and back, sometimes double spring in the back, which was redesigned after World War II to have straight springs. And the bonus of the straight springs is the machine can run faster, but they manually need to be adjusted, whereas the hanger springs are self-compensating. So you don't have to keep fiddling when you go over seams or you've got different work going on. They will self-compensate, though the springs don't last as long and they can be somewhat hazardous to use. Okay, brilliant. So we've got here what would equivalent to, number 1 it's saying, but it's actually the A model. This is the E model. Though they're not writing that in this book, they're numbering them instead. This appears to be the K model. Actually, KB is that one, and this appears to be the K model. Brilliant machine, I've got this one. Again, brilliant machine, I've got this one too. So I will need to get these translated over time so that everyone can access this type of information, because it is really fantastic and it's not available online with clear definitions. Let's look at this amazing engineering going on with some of these machines. Some of these I've never even seen. Oh, very delicate. So I'll get these all scanned in before the paper disintegrates so that records are not lost. Look at this, just genius. Incredible engineering. I do have this machine. There's actually a couple of these available on eBay, not through our store, but I have seen them on eBay recently. May be of interest to somebody. Again, I'm not sure what language this one will be. I'm just going to guess it's in Spanish, but no, maybe not. Again, around the same period, the last of the dates that I'm seeing here on quick glance are around, what have we got? 1894, 1893. So we're going to say late 1890s that this is from, oh, there we go, nope, 1902. So well over 120 years old now. These booklets are very rare. As many of you know, the Chainstitch embroideries were some of the most expensive textile machinery, single head textile machinery available at the time, generally costing more than a brand new car at that time. Though the benefits, of course, of having a machine of this class meant that you would be able to earn money, whereas a car, as we know, unless it's a taxi, it will start to depreciate and not earn you money. Oh, this looks odd. I'm just going to imagine that that says tuberculosis is in a straight translation into English. So there may have been a TB breakout warning. Somebody feel free to add a comment if they know more on that subject. Again, more of these beautiful catalogues, different languages. This one appears to be in German. Maybe a later issue. Let's see if we get a date. No, but it does say up to 1900 here on the cover. Extremely rare. I feel very privileged to be the caretaker of these now. Machine number 40. There's only a few of these around. I do have one on the original table. It is a hem stitching machine, but without the handle underneath. Beautiful machine, of course, being made in Germany. We've got another catalogue page here. It doesn't appear to want to open. No, it does. Okay, wow, the number 41. This is probably the most impressive machine ever made in terms of a handle-driven design machine. This is a high-speed double needle hem stitching machine that also has double cording. Very, very rare, very desirable machine. The punch can be removed and it does a double zigzag over the cords, and of course can move in the 360 direction, which a lot of people think just because it's got a handle means that it can move 360. Not every model could actually move the entire 360 degree. Some of them are set to only move from side forward to side, and these were for scalloping edges, so they have block systems. quite often double thread underneath because, or above, to stop the threads from also binding over each other. If you continuously did loops, you would end up with a bound motion and your thread would break. So they had stoppers on some of the handles for some of the models. One of those examples is the Cornelli U design. Not many of those in existence. I do know of 2 or 3. But a very rare one, which was used for the edgings of tablecloths, petticoats, etc. I love sharing all this knowledge with you guys, the public. The more people learn about it, the more interest there will be, the more demand there will be for these beautiful and unusual machines. A lot of the stitches that these machines can produce still cannot be mimicked on a computerized machine, which I'm very proud to say we need human intervention. I appreciate modernism and technology, but I also think we need to ensure the computers and mass production don't take over the world, which is getting awfully close, but we're seeing a resurgence in this type of work done on these machines. I do have a copy of this somewhere. I think my copy might be in somewhat better condition, but again, beautiful. This one's in English. And it talks about which machines overtake previous models as they advance, which I really appreciate that. So here, especially adapted for GIMP. Machine numbers 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. So everything incorporated to create the 11. So you would then do your upgrade. This was as time was going on and these were being developed. You would do the upgrade and you could downgrade these machines or sell those off to somebody who just needed basic stitches, so that you would have a variety of options within a small workspace. And this is actually really important when we think about modern embroidery for us today, is we are most likely not working out of huge factories, and space is a major factor. So it is recommended, though it's a lot more difficult to learn at the beginning, but to get the highest end of the machine so that your capabilities are there as your skills progress. Thank you for watching. I know this has been a very long video and I'm only just getting started. So we're now into parts which have arrived, which I'm excited about. I can already see here we've got some of the original machine face covers. These are from the post-war models. I can tell by the colour and the texture. This was an upgrade after World War II to this colour. Prior to World War II, all of the Lintz Eckhart machines were black, depending on the years prior as to whether they had inlaid and gills, or whether they had decals or no decals at all. Here are some nipples. Again, originals out of the Lintz Eckhart Factory, unstamped. So when they're unstamped means there's no number, simply because the holes have not yet been drilled. This is going to be very handy for somebody like me that wants to get all the original parts out to you guys, but sometimes we just don't have the size available. So an original Lintz Eckhart Factory product, and we can make it to the size that's in demand right now. This must have been how they were stored. Again, beautiful original logo advertising there. Incredibly rare to find this stuff now. We've got bunches of screws. Add that into the drawers. Okay, so an unusual part here. This seems to be not from a machine, but a part that makes machines. So this has come from the 53 or 52 model by the look of it, but it is a double needle, so it may be from the FD type model, though I've not seen. This could also come from the 37, 41, not the 41 because it would have also other guides. This is a ribbon guide, double stitch. So this is a machine they use to make machines, or part of there to test, I suppose, centering. I will work this out a bit later. Those do not appear to be needles, so they might be drill bits of some sort. Interesting. Very valuable to someone like me who will ensure parts are correct for the machine before I send them out. And just a whole load of random pieces from the various models by the look of it. Bobbins, guide holders there, bobbin cases, shuttles. Brilliant sort of stuff that we need more of continuously. If anyone has some they want to clear out, you know who to contact. Okay, another whole file of paperwork, samples even. I very much want to thank the person that reached out and sold this stuff to me. As one of the primary gatekeeper of all chain stitch technologies that existed, I ensure that this information will survive and not be thrown out or lost. As most of you already know, I was one of the first on YouTube, exhibiting examples, sharing knowledge, of which I faced a lot of criticism for at that time, but I persisted. There is, of course, always a bad apple or two within the industry, whichever industry you're in. But I've been one of the ones that took the criticism, took the foul language, and still decided to share my knowledge on these incredible machines. I hope there is quite a few of you actually around that do remember that. Okay, this is incredible. Original photographs. These are post-war machines. Again, there's the cover that came in earlier. So this is from the base model. This is the equivalent of the A3 bobbin winding technology. There you go. So this must be from the photographs taken for their catalogue. Incredible bits of history here, which will be cherished. That's fantastic, in my opinion. Okay, so even better here, we have the FB2 needle, so similar to the FBN by Cornelli. Photograph of the machine setup, running the sample, and then the sample. So this is a filled cording underneath. So they call it air tucking, even though I can feel the cord within there. They've stapled that down so well. Okay, so you'll see the paper there. The cording is black. The thread is I'm going to say a faint cherry sort of colour, faded cherry mulberry. There's the paper. So the cording there is black. The bobbin thread is the cherry, and they've got black thread stitching it on the top. Just brilliant to have these examples still surviving today. I don't remember the number of this machine. I've never actually owned it, but it's a punch hole machine with embroidery. It does not have a handle to the best of my knowledge, but it does have a high-speed shuttle, similar to the Cornelli 121. I would imagine that was very popular for the broderie anglais styles of the early 1900s, where that type of drill holing was incorporated with embroidery. Beautiful envelope. Thank you for continuing to watch. This is exciting to me. I hope it's as exciting to you. Old roads lead to Berlin. Okay, interesting. I'm expecting it to be a road map. So naturally there's going to be an article in here about Lintz Eckhart. I will at a later stage look through that for you. Great artwork. Again, may just be general advertising material to work with Germany. Okay, this is great. This is the equivalent of the L3 model. So there's no gear adjustment like the LG, but it does have the upper bobbin, central bobbin, and it is a single needle setup. So they're classifying this as 111S, which I assume that S would mean, actually no, I'm not sure. But I will need to get all of that translated. Sutash, I will translate that at a later stage and update you. Great, instructions here of sorts. The different needle plates, different looper. 101, which was the post-war model number 1. So, as earlier described, the straight spring system, those are the same. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so this is one of the earlier parts showing that guide there. So this is something to test, that guide that goes, you can see there, the 2 pins and screw in the middle. So that's for testing. These are some of the catalogue pages that would have gone for printing. Interesting, I've had a couple of these, beautiful machines. This is the equivalent of the LG3. Of course, when I say had, it means that the machines were restored and sent out to their new homes. Alright, as there's a lot of documents here, I could spend hours, but I won't just now. I will later, at some stage, put together a detailed presentation. Enjoy!